Welcome everybody to the Natsu 2021 preview show, talking about the latest banzuke that just dropped this past Sunday. Well, that's yesterday to me, but it's going to be Wednesday by the time y'all see this video. So, first things first, Guess the Banzuke game. I got 9th place, as you can see right here. This is only my 5th Basho. And I had 33 bullseyes, or no, 28 bullseyes, 5 hits, and a hit is when you guess the right rank, but not the right side. So I'll go into that a little bit later. Total score of 61 points, and this comes after getting 13th place at the last one. And as you remember, there were a lot of things that, I had to go back on, a lot of second guesses, and a lot of really confusing things that happened in this banzuke that I didn't expect, and things that I thought were going to happen ended up not happening, obviously, and things that I thought were like 1 or 2% chance ended up happening. And as we go through the banzuke, we can talk about the actual banzuke compared to my guesses right here, and then over here was the results from the previous basho, the Haru Basho. So, going through the Mei Banzuke, Hakuho, it is going to be the second time in his career that he is the sole Yokozuna. Oh, wait, no. Or was the stat, this is the second time that he will be the sole Yokozuna. Second time there is a sole Yokozuna? I don't remember. But it's something interesting like that, where we only have one Yokozuna, and unfortunately he's not even going to be attending until July, so he's not even going to be at this tournament. After that, everything fell as we thought it would. Asanayama, Takakeisho, Shodai, and Terunofuji in those Ozeki slots, as we predicted. The first trip up was Takayasu leapfrogging over Takanosho. Now, Takanosho has been very consistent at the rank of Sekiwake, and a lot of people did not think Takayasu would have leapfrogged over him. Like, we knew that 10 wins was going to be enough to push him up, especially with the promotion of Terunofuji up to Ozeki, filling up that Sekiwake spot. Me and a lot of other people thought that Takanosho was simply going to move over, Takayasu would move up into the Takanosho's empty slot, and so on. But instead, Takayasu actually leapfrogs Takanosho. Takanosho with an 8-7 last basho. Takayasu gave up that 2-win lead and only ended up with a 10-5. I think he lost 4 of his last 5 matches, which is really, really unfortunate for him. But as we keep going down, things fall into place very well. The green is a bullseye. The yellow is half off, so that's where the hits happen and not the bullseyes. But all the way down to Maegashira 3, we get all of the bullseyes, and then this is where something interesting happens. So, I predicted originally that Kiribayama and Myogiryu would move up despite their 7 and 8 records, but then I went through other people's banzukes and saw, well, I think Chiyonokuni and Hoshoryu have to move up to these slots. I predicted Hoshoryu in the M4 spot compared to his actual ending up at M5, and Kiribayama ended up staying. I got the hit for Kiribayama, who stayed at M4. Myogiryu, I predicted him to be lower at that M5 spot, but it turns out they stay at the same exact rank. Kiribayama and Myogiryu staying at that rank of Maegashira 4, which is pretty interesting because people thought Chiyonokuni and Hoshoryu, because they had the same rank, they had the same record from the same rank, people expected them to move up together. But because of the way the banzuke fell, if you remember correctly, there was nobody to put in that Maegashira 3 spot unless you under-demoted Onosho or if you over-promoted Chiyonokuni and Hoshoryu. So what they opted to do, and I think this is... It wasn't an unlikely scenario. I think this is something that we didn't even foresee because we were so fixated on moving up Hoshoryu and Chiyonokuni together and making sure Kiribayama and Myogiryu did indeed at least move down half a slot for their losing record. But because of the way everything else fell, there was a gap, like right here at this Maegashira 3 spot where you don't want to move up a loser. So what they opted to do was keep these 7 and 8 records at the same rank, and then they over-promoted Chiyonokuni, and I think it's something like, they're sitting around, they're looking at the banzuke, and they're thinking, well, there's no one else that can fill that spot. can't be helped. We're going to have to separate him and Hoshoryu. And it's not the first time this has happened in recent memory where two people with the same record from the same rank get separated. That happened with Yutakayama and Kaisei a few Basho ago when they were both falling. But, you know, it's one of those things. I feel like this was the only way it could have fallen without, like, 2 over promotions in Hoshoryu also going up to Maegashira 4. So I think this was, like, the path of least over promotion, because Chiyonokuni obviously over promoted to Maegashira 3. Kiriba and Myogiryu staying the same with their 7 and 8 records from Maegashira 4, 100% fine. That's happened before. It happens a lot where a person with a 7 and 8 will stay the same record. It happens. Hoshoryu being separated from Chiyonokuni, that's where a lot of people thought, oh, Chiyonokuni and Hoshoryu, same record, same rank, they're going to move up together. Not always the case, and this is a perfect place to see where that is not always the case. Onosho, we predicted him to fall to Maegashira 5 because realistically that was the only place he could fall. Ichinojo and Hide no Umi down here. I got the bullseye on Ichinojo. Ichinojo staying the same because of his 7 and 8 as well. Hide no Umi, they actually pushed up. I had him at that Maegashira 7 spot. Switch places with him with Takara Fuji. I thought they would be a little more lenient towards Takara Fuji because, you know, he is a long-standing, you know, Maegashira Rikshi. He's been here for so long. He has that one terrible Basho at the top of the ladder. He went, what was your record? 3 and 12? Of course, Maegashira 6, probably under demotion compared to his record. Hell, Maegashira 7 might be an under demotion too, but if you look at all of the red right in here and all of these losing records, you know, he had to be pushed up above some people. Then we look down to, where was Hide no Umi? Maegashira 15, 10 and 5, moving all the way up to Maegashira 6. That's possibly an over promotion as well. You know, Hide no Umi and Takara Fuji, that's... I don't agree with that in terms of what the banzuke decided, but we were close. We were very close. Tochinoshin also staying the same rank after his 7 and 8. You know, we saw that coming. Then we get 2 more bullseye ranks. Tsurugisho, Endo, Shimano Umi, and Kageyaki. Maegashira 8, Maegashira 9. Perfectly predicted that because, again, they had losing records and they didn't really have anywhere lower to go because you have losers below them and then, you know, people that leapfrogged over them. Chiyoshoma and Terutsuyoshi Kotoeko not really there to leapfrog over them, and we can see that later on. And then Maegashira 10, again, just one little flip of the thing. Tamawashi and Kotonowaka, let's go back and see what their records were. Kotonowaka had a 6 and 9 from Maegashira 8. Tamawashi had a 5 and 10 from Maegashira 6. So they did fall into the same rank, but it was just going to be a matter of, you know, who gets pushed up versus who doesn't. And that's a lost coin flip. I'm not too upset about that. But it was really interesting, I think, that they did push down Kotonowaka a little bit further because, you know, 6 and 9 is slightly stronger, and he was largely facing the same opponents. We can actually go to see who Tamawashi was facing, who Kotonowaka was facing right over here behind me. And when I scooch myself over, we could see, you know, Tamawashi losing to Chiyonokuni, Kiribayama, Wakataka Kage. He actually did touch the Sanyaku ranks, losing to Teruno Fuji and Mitake Yumi. And then you have Kotonowaka, who his highest ranked opponent was Endo at Maegashira 5, and even then that was an injured Endo. So actually I think this was indeed misread by me. Kotonowaka had weaker opponents, and therefore Tamawashi, I should have predicted, stayed above him. That's not something I really considered. So, you know, a few missed points there by me. As we continue down the banzuke, Chiyoshoma, Terutsuyoshi, perfectly called. And we can see why. Terutsuyoshi 8 and 7 from Maegashira 13, moving up to Maegashira 10, because he has to leapfrog over all of these other losers. Then Kotoeko, I got him in the right spot again. 8 and 7 from 14, moves up to Maegashira 12. Now, Okino Umi, he went 3 and 12 from Maegashira 5. I thought he was going to fall all the way to Maegashira 14, But you can see I predicted Okinoumi, Daiamami, and Ryuden a little jumbled up there. Daiamami was supposed to move, Okinoumi was supposed to move down, bumping Ryuden and Daiamami up. Daiamami up to Maegashira 12 with his 9 and 6 from Maegashira 15. I mean, at these lower ranks, that kind of leap is going to happen. It's only 4 ranks for a +3, so, you know, it's not an over-promotion by any stretch of the imagination. So, they prioritize the winner over the losers here, and then we look at Ryuden. Ryuden had a 6 and 9 from Maegashira 10. He fell to Maegashira 13. That's literal, or no, he fell to a Maegashira 14. Again, that's a -4 on a -3 record. So, again, not outside of the realm of possibility. And I think I was too hard on Okinoumi. I had him fall 2 extra ranks all the way down to that Maegashira 14, because with that 3 and 12, that's a -9 from Maegashira 5. And that perfectly lines up, a -9 all the way down to Maegashira 14. But usually the banzuke decision committee is more lenient towards losers at the top. Like 3 and 12 at Maegashira 5. We can even go in and see who his opponents were for that Basho. He loses to Ichinojo, Myogiri, you know, people above him, people around him. He loses to Takakeisho, Takada Fuji, you know, so it's not like he was facing bad opponents. So, yeah, a little more lenient towards him. And then down even further, Chiyotairyu, I got him spot on. He got that, well, let's see, where's Chiyotairyu? 6 and 9 from Maegashira 11. Only fell 3 ranks, so again, 1-1. Kaisei and Midori Fuji, where were you guys? Kaisei moved up, Midori Fuji moved down, and I mean, that one, I think that's an error on my part. They put the winner at the east side and the loser at the west side, where I had Midori Fuji on the east instead of the west, so that's a missed opportunity right there. I lost 2 points on that because I just flip-flopped them, but that's okay. We still got them in the right rank. And again, I just wasn't really thinking. It's like, when you have a person with a winning record, of course they're going to move up to the east spot. Like, why would they occupy, oops, the links come up. Why would they occupy the west spot if they had a better record than the person occupying the east spot, you know? That was just missed by me. And then Ishiura, Chiyomaru, and Aqua filling out the bottom. A few people were surprised that Chiyomaru leapfrogged over Aqua, but if we want to look at it over here, Chiyomaru with the 9 and 6 from Juryo 3, that would put him up to, you know, Maegashira 17. Aqua with the 8 and 7 would put him up to Maegashira 17. But because Chiyomaru had a better record, leapfrogged over. Now, I could see a world where Aqua maintains over Chiyomaru, and that's, I think, if he was the Juryo 1 East, or if Chiyomaru was the Juryo 3 West. But that half a rank difference does make a difference, I think. And so that fills out the banzuke at the bottom over here. And overall, I do remember a lot of the things in the middle over here that I ended up scoring points on were mostly like, pushing people up to where I thought they would need to be, like Tsurugisho and Hide no Umi. Tsurugisho, I got him where he needed to be, but Hide no Umi got pushed up one. I didn't even think that would have been a possibility because Takada Fuji fell so cleanly right here above Ichinojo and Tochinoshin. Ichinojo and Tochinoshin actually maintaining their ranks. And then I did not think Hide no Umi's 10 and 5 from Maegashira 15 would have been strong enough to push him up 9 ranks, I thought even putting at Maegashira 7 was a bit of a stretch, And then Tsurugisho moving all the way up there too, I thought, well, look at all the losers above him. Aoyama is realistically the only person that would shoot up higher, so Tsurugisho and Hide no Umi need to leapfrog over these other 8 and 7s, Terutsuyoshi, Kotoeko, Chiyoshoma, and try to fill in those spots, because we did move up Tobizaru, we did move up Chiyonokuni and Hoshoryu, and then you have all these losers in the middle. It's like, well, where is everybody going to fall? We have to put the losers below the winners, right? And that's the little screw up I had over here. And like the one blatant example, Kaisei not being over Midori Fuji. It's like, well, winners over the losers. Come on, idiot. Why didn't you think of this? So that was my mistake in the guesses. And then again, Okinoumi, Dayamami, and Ryuden, they fell perfectly according to their ranks. Like Ryuden, Okinoumi, and Dayamami. Dayamami, well, he didn't fall perfectly, but, you know, a +4 for a +3 record, I thought that was fine. And then Ryuden and Okinoumi falling. Okinoumi falling exactly, you know, 9 ranks. Makes sense to me. Ryuden, where were you, Ryuden? Falling 3 ranks from Maegashira 10 to Maegashira 13. Sounds fine to me. And then pushing Dayamami over them because he was the winner. See, now that line of thinking didn't work there, strangely enough. So that was this was a situation where Dayamami, Ryuden, and Okinoumi all fell into the same spot, kind of. And it was just a matter of like, oh, Dayamami, push up, Akiseyama, gonna stay the same. Ryuden and Okinoumi are gonna be below Akiseyama because Akiseyama had that 7 and 8. So just a little bit of fuckery right there, you know. And then going back to Tamawashi, Kotonowaka, literally a coin flip. The biggest question mark I think other people are going to have is going to be that Maegashira 3 through 5, where Kirebayama and Myogiryu stay the same, and Hoshoryu seemingly gets under-promoted compared to Chiyonokuni, who goes all the way up to Maegashira 3. Again, I think that was a situation where Chiyonokuni was the only possible person to fill that spot, because if you put Onosho there, that's a massive under-demotion. Because Onosho with that 4 and 11, you can't put him at Maegashira 3. Maybe if he had a 5 and 10, you can. But 4 and 11, no, you gotta bump him down a little bit more. And then, again, this was something I thought could have happened, and the reason why people put Onosho at Maegashira 3, kept Kirebayama and Myogiryu at Maegashira 4, is because of that exact reason. They did not want to over-promote Chiyonokuni and Hoshoryu, and it would have fallen fine. And again, if Onosho was 5 and 10, that is how it would have fallen. Onosho would have gone to Maegashira 3, Kiribaya and Myogiryu would have stayed the same, Chiyonokuni and Hoshoryu move up to the same rank together, and then, you know, a lot of people get more, they get more bullseyes, you know? But that's not how it fell. And overall, I think this was, I mean, obviously I'm gonna agree with most of the banzuke, and I understand the misses that I did get on the banzuke, and I even suspected that some of these misses would have been misses, you know? So I think it's a very good banzuke. It's one of the most fair ones I've seen. And, you know, from here, this is where I want to start talking about my guesses on who is going to win the Yusho. Now, we already know Hakuho is not going to be there. So, Hakuho, you are not there. You're going to be absent. You don't exist, Hakuho. You exist only so we can have a Judio 1 pop up into the top division, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, Hakuho is not even going to be here. I'll give him, like, purple because he's going to be absent. Asanayama, Takakeisho, Shodai, and Terunofuji. This was something we were actually discussing yesterday with a cat named Ali. Asanayama has been wildly consistent. He has gotten 10 wins for the past 4 Basho where he was not injured. Asanayama, very, very likely that he is going to be a big winner right here. His fellow Ozeki class, Takakeisho, Shodai, and Terunofuji. Terunofuji, easily, I could call him a big winner. Hell, maybe even the Yusho winner again. Shodai, I'm not too confident in. And again, this was something we were talking about too. It seems like his defensive way of doing things is not working out for him, and we can see in the chart right behind me, if I scooch myself over, actually I'll just keep myself in the middle right here because we have this stuff to the left over here, and I think that works out fine. But loses to Mitakeumi, Hokuto Fuji, two large pushers, you know. Daieisho, another big pusher. Teruno Fuji just gets the grip on the belt. Takakeisho, another big pusher. He has that defensive Tachi where he's good against grapplers. He's good against Kiribayama. He's good against Takara Fuji. He's good against, you know, Shimano Umi. He's good against Takayasu. But he's bad against the pusher thrusters. And we need to analyze, you know, how many other pusher thrusters are going to be around him again this Basho. We still have Takakeisho. We still have Mitakeumi. We still have Hokuto Fuji. Now we have Aoyama. So, and Aoyama's new style is crazy. Like, that man is on fire. And maybe Aoyama is not going to be on fire because usually he's only on fire during the month of March for some reason. But, see, he loses to Takanosho. He's still up there. He loses to, Daieisho. He's still up there. That's already 6 possible losses I have on my hands. Wakataka Kage is still up there. He loses via Yorikiri to Wakataka Kage. That's already 7. Meisei is still up there. That's 8 possible losses on my hands as it stands. You know? So, I can't say I'm confident that Shodai will keep his Ozeki rank. And I mean, even if we look at some of the people that he has beaten, Onosho, he's 5-2 against, so there could be a potential loss there. Myogiryu, who's still in the area as well, he's 7-6 against. Takayasu, 12-8. So, oh wait, no, he beat Takanosho. Takanosho 5-2. Loses to Teruno Fuji, who, in his respect, he does have a decent record against. He's only 4-7, but you know, I can't say that I am confident in Shodai showing up. Just taking a quick drink. I don't think he'll get a big loss. I'm gonna call it a small loss. This could just be recency bias. I do not think Shodai is going to succeed, basically. I don't think. And if he does, it's going to be an 8-7, and people have already made the Goedo jokes, you know? We can move back to Takakeisho. Takakeisho, the reason why he did poorly that one Basho recently was because he was fighting through injury. And, you know, we made fun of him for kind of being a disappointment there, not becoming the next Yokozuna, but he was fighting through injury. We can go back and look at these records, you know, 12-3 Jun Yusho, 13-2 Yusho, 10-5, and we can see these the 10-5, loses to Wakataka Kage. Wakataka Kage, really surprising people. I did not expect that kind of thing from him. Loses to Hokuto Fuji, which is another fellow pusher thruster. Gets his first loss against Meisei, too. You could count that as a fluke. I'm not sure. Beats Mitake Umi, which is a coin flip matchup. Loses to Takayasu, which is another coin flip matchup. And that was a really long match, too. Loses to Teruno Fuji, which is, again, another coin flip. So even in these losses, they're like coin flip losses. And then in some of these wins, like against Daieisho and against... you know, if we keep moving down, Myogiryu, he's 12-0, Jesus. Against Mitakeumi, that's a coin flip. Kiribayama, not enough matches to really call it a coin flip, but, you know, against Asanayama, coin flip. Shodai, you know, on the winning end of that. I'd call it, he's gonna have a winning record. I don't think it's gonna be that impressive of a winning record, so I'll give him the small win. So... I mean, again, we can look back at these other results. He loses to Shodai, who he does have a better record against. He lost to Tochinoshin, of all people, you know, that he has a good record against. Lost to Hokuto Fuji, that he has a good record against. That was in his Jun Yusho back in the Aki Basho. Then the Kyushu Basho, where he actually got the Yusho. He loses to Teruno Fuji, and then beats him in the playoff anyway. So, and then his other loss was against Tobizaru. So Tobizaru is still up there, and I'm sure he's going to be wise to Tobizaru's wiles by now. So I do think Takakeisho is going to win. I don't think he's going to be a Yusho winner. All right, moving down the banzuke. Takayasu, he really showed some fire at that last Basho, and I mean, if we look at recent results, 10-5, 10-5, 8-7, 9-6, 10-5. And that 10-5 was from the Komusubi spot. We saw him crack under the pressure, being in the lead, lost 4 of the last 5 bouts, unfortunately for him. Still without a Yusho for himself, in the top division at least. Wow, he only has 1 divisional Yusho? That's interesting. Yeah, Takayasu, he's gonna be a winner. Whether or not he's a big winner, I don't know. Takanosho, on the other hand, and this was something that we were talking about yesterday as well. Takanosho, people are surprised he's still even Sekiwake. Let's be real. Although you have to say he's been consistent at the top here. I mean, 8-7, 10-5, 8-7, 9-6, 8-7. It's unfortunate that he couldn't get that 9-6 back in November, and it's you know, getting that 8th win by the skin of his teeth on day 15 at the last Basho, obviously showing some cracks right here. We can look at his opponents and who he lost to. He did start off really hot, obviously. You know, day 6 he was 5-1, loses to Daisho and Meisei, loses to, you know, Asanayama, Terunofuji, Shodai, 3 of the 4 Ozeki. He didn't even fight all of the Ozeki. He did not fight Takakeisho. Where is it? Oh, I guess he didn't fight Takakeisho at the last Basho. That's weird, considering they're both in the Sanyaku ranks. Interesting. But, you know, losing to Myogiryu, losing to Shodai, again, belt grip versus belt grip. Shodai is going to be superior. Terunofuji, the same thing. Tsukui Nage from Asanayama, who he is only 1-4 against. Strangely enough, 4-1 against Terunofuji. Hold on 1 second. Actually has a good record against Terunofuji, which I thought was pretty funny. Good winning record against Wakataka Kage, coin flip against Hokuto Fuji, good winning record against Mitake Umi. So he can hang. You know, it's not like he's getting bopped by these other Sanyaku ranked members. So I think Takanosho will remain consistent. I think he will stay in the top here. Probably not an impressive winning record, but it's going to be a winning record nonetheless. Mitake Umi and Daisho are 2 Komusubi. Daisho, I thought he was going to be pushing for Ozeki, but with that 8-7, now I'm not too sure. Mitake Umi, 8-7 himself. And Mitake Umi, I mean, if we just look at his career, he's been in the Sanyaku ranks basically since he started freaking sumo wrestling. Since 2016, he's been in Komusubi, Maegashira 1, Sekiwake, Maegashira 2, Maegashira 3, you know. He's been up there the entire time. It's just a matter of, you know, is he ever gonna win or is he gonna lose? He has 2 Yusho to his name, which is actually more than Takayasu, who has been Ozeki. So, interestingly enough, his consistency is seeming to waver a little bit. You can see like 8-7, 7-8, 9-6, 8-7, and these aren't bad. Like, we can even go back to that 7-8 where he lost his Sekiwake spot and see this massive 6-loss streak. Like, what happened here? Myogiryu, Koto Shoho, he loses to Koto Shoho. Takayasu, Terunofuji, Takanosho, Takakeisho, all the guys that he has to usually fight, except for Koto Shoho. Loses to Kiribayama and Daisho. But then it's one of those things where he beats the people below him, but he loses to the people above him. And then even then, losing to Myogiryu, a very experienced matchup. 5-5 in that one. Beats Takeda Fuji as he should. Beats Okino Umi and Wakataka Kage. Loses to Kiribayama. 0-3 against Kiribayama. So it's he's inconsistent. And I think against this class, like, I want to see his record against Aoyama. Show all bouts by opponent. How many times has he fought Aoyama? 4-4 against Aoyama, so, you know, another coin flip that we'll have to look out for. I don't think he's ever fought against Chionokuni. Oh, he has, and he's 7-0 against Chionokuni. So, there you have it. So that's, you know, another win in his corner. I think Mitake Umi, I mean, it depends. New Big Dan is he's gonna be on fire, and I think that's might trip up Mitakeumi. You never know, but I think the safe prediction would be a small win, but I do think this current class of upper rankers, maybe not Daisho so much. Like, we can go down. It's a coin flip against Daisho, and he's actually lost 4 in a row against Daisho. Has not won against him since March of last year. So I think it's a coin flip between a small win and a small loss. I don't think it's going to be 10 either way, but I think Mitakeumi will have his have a run for his money here. Now, speaking of Daisho, we can give him a look. Daisho got his first U-show back in January after a really amazing 10-5, 13-2 from Maegashita 1, only being promoted to Komusubi 2. Now he is at Komusubi 1 with that 8-7 record. But again, is he like burning out? He lost 5 of his first 6 matches, but then he went on fire. We have to look. Who was he facing off against? Oh, Hakuho. Oh, Takakeisho. Terunofuji, who he actually has a decent record against. Takayasu, big losing record. Beats Mitakeumi in that coin flip matchup. Loses to Takeda Fuji in kind of a coin flip matchup, only 6-9 right there. Against a bad Takeda Fuji too. So it could be that we could talk about the mental game a little bit. Might have been frustrated a little bit that he didn't get to that Sekiwake spot to push for Ozeki, and might have overcompensated a bit, might have tried a little too hard, and needed to get reined in afterwards, and then he pulls it back. Takanosho, Asanayama, Shodai. Now we're seeing the good Daisho again, and I feel like now that he's been leveled, and this give me win against a Kisayama at the very end, like, they could have given him anybody. They give him a Kisayama. A Komusubi versus Maegashita 12. You couldn't have given him someone like Ichinojo at the least, someone close. Ichinojo was trying to avoid a 7-8 too, so why didn't you give him Ichinojo or someone closer to that level? But that was a give me to like let him stay at that rank. And I feel like now that he has gotten those blues out of him, now that he has to basically restart his push for Ozeki, I feel like he's going to regain a lot of that confidence, and I can feel like he will have a big winning record. Probably might get 10 wins, possibly 9. Now we move down to the Maegashita 1 slot. We saw the last time Hokuto Fuji was up here a couple Basho ago. He was quite disappointing. He did start out as the dark horse, but he kind of fell apart in the middle right there. That 11-4 Maegashita 4, and then 7-8 from Maegashita 1, 9-6 from Maegashita 2. Couldn't really go anywhere except up to Maegashita 1. And then we can even look at, I want to look at who he lost to back in January. Loses to Shodai, Sanayama, Takanosho, Terunofuji. Loses to everybody above him. He has a bad record against Takakeisho, who he did beat. He loses to Takayasu, Mitakeumi, Daisho. So he has to rely on beating his opponents below him. And if we look at that, like, we can even look at the most recent Basho as well, where he went 9-6. Loses to Terunofuji, loses to Asanayama, loses to, people around him too. Shimano Umi, Daisho, coin flip matchups kind of too. Takayasu again, that's 2 in a row against Takayasu. Loses to Wakataka. So, he can beat the people below him. He beats Ichinojo. Obviously going to beat Ryuden. But can he beat the new Big Dan? Will he beat Kiribayama? Show all bouts by opponent. He's had a lot of bouts, so we're going to have to, like, fucking look for these names. But, we can scroll down all the way. How is he against Kiribayama? He's lost his only bout against him. How is he against Onosho? He is coin flipping that one, 5-6. How is he against Myogiryu? He's got a winning record, 7-5, but again, coin flip. Chiono Kuni, losing record against Chiono Kuni, 2-4. Did we say Meisei? Oh, excuse me. My goodness, Meisei 2-1, not enough info to really say, but, you know, Meisei could come out firing. I don't believe in Hokuto Fuji here. I don't believe in his ability to stay consistent and to stay good. I do think Hokuto Fuji will not have a winning record here, and his highest rank being at Komusubi, and then immediately losing it almost every time. Maegashira 1 is virtually the same rank. I don't think he's going to have a winning record here. Could be a mental thing where it's like, okay, now I'm at the top, and then, ooh, slapped down by the Ozeki, ooh, slapped down by everyone above him, and then, you know, that gets to him, especially if he's fighting those people early in the tournament. That's going to get to him, and then he's going to suffer for it, because, you know, if he goes up against Shodai and loses day 1, blow to the confidence. Goes up against Teruno Fuji day 2 and loses. Well, now he's 0-2, and that's going to be a blow to his confidence. So, I don't believe he's going to have a winning record. Wakataka Kage, on the other hand, he surprised the hell out of me. He did have that 7-8 from Maegashira 1 with a Fusensho, but even before that, 10-5, 11-4, out because of COVID, and then comes back with, you know, limited training because of the COVID, gets his, you know, Gino Sho. I forget which one that is. It's not like Fighting Spirit, I don't think. Could be Technique. I'm not sure. He gets an extra award, basically. And now, you know, 4 years after his debut, he's flirting with the Sanyaku ranks. That's incredible. Especially starting from Sandamne and not, you know, that hot start that other Rikshi get, like Mitake Umi, where he started at Makushita 10, I think, because I think you start from those positions if you win, like, college tournaments or a series of amateur tournaments. And so he didn't have that. He comes into this, boom, Maegashira 1, Maegashira 2. I think he's going to be a mainstay. I don't know if he's going to get another 10 wins. Like, that was amazing what he did at the previous tournament. But I do want to go back and see who he lost to a lot. Shodai Takakeisho, which, you know, we can come to this next tournament. Beats Takakeisho this time. Beats Shodai this time. You know, bad matchup against Mitake Umi. He's got to find something there. Loses to Asanayama. So now that he's lost to Asanayama, he might have learned and he might beat Asanayama. So, you know, a lot of things where he does not have much experience against these guys. And you might be able to say it's because these guys don't know him that well that he's able to take some of these victories. But, you know, from watching him fight, from, you know, that victory over Takeyasu, from, you know, my top 10, you know, fights video from the previous Basho, I think Wakataka Kage's got it. I think he's going to have a winning record. Whether or not it's big or not, I don't know, but I would love to believe it's going to be a big winning record. And I'm going to predict that because he can hang with the top. You know, I'd love to see him against Hakuho. I don't think he'd win against Hakuho, but he's going to hang. Meisei 10-5 at the previous Basho, and then across from him, Tobizaru. Let's go find Meisei and Tobizaru. Meisei, he was at that position almost a year and a half ago, up at Maegashira 2, 6-9, and then out for injury, comes back, gets that Judio Yusho. Consistently good, gets a 10-5 from Maegashira 3 with a Fusensho victory. I think that was against Endo. Yep, that was against Endo. And you know, he can hang. Again, he gets his first victory against Shodai, his first victory against Takakeisho. Loses against Asanayama, who he only has one victory against. Loses to Teruno Fuji. So you have to wonder, are these victories going to be a trend? Is he going to keep winning against Shodai? Is he going to keep winning against Takakeisho? In Takanosho, he's undefeated, so, you know, there's at least one Sanyaku victory he's going to get. But against the rest of these guys, will he be able to hang? Takeyasu, he's 2-2, might get it. Mitake Umi, 0-4, probably not. Kiribayama. Tobizaru right there. I am not confident Because, I mean, if you look at these records he has against the people he was facing, even Tsurugisho, he has a 2-6 record. Meisei, I don't think he's very consistent. He's good. He's fun to watch. I don't think he's going to be consistent. Got that 10-5. He's climbed back up the ladder, and he definitely deserves the spot he's at. But I don't know if this is going to be the limit for him. He has not touched the Sanyaku ranks yet himself. His career high is Maegashira 2. But I have a hard time believing that he's going to have a winning record here. He could have an 8-7. But now that he's at Maegashira 2, I mean, it's similar to Maegashira 3, but again, like, looking at these records, he's beaten people that have normally beat the crap out of him. But is that going to be the new trend, or was that a flash in the pan? I'm choosing to believe that's going to be a flash in the pan. He's lost his only matchup to Wakataka Kage, which we don't have enough information there, obviously. You know, he can beat Takanosho, beat Kiribayama, beats Tobizaru, who's up here as well. But that's only like 3 guaranteed wins in the people around him. If we want to, you know, see bouts by opponent, we can look for, you know, Aoyama. Let's see, has he even fought Aoyama? He has. He's 1-6 against Aoyama. So that's, again, he only has 3, like, air quotes, guaranteed wins in the opponents that are around him. I feel like he's going to start off like 0-5, 0-6, then they're going to feed him like some lower Maegashira, like Maegashira 7, Maegashira 8, but even then, he has a losing record against Tsurugisho. How does he do against Tochinoshin? He's 3-2 against Tochinoshin, actually, but how is he against Hoshoryu? He only has a Fusensho victory there. How is he against a Ichinojo? He's actually 4-1 against Ichinojo. Myogiryu, 4-2. Okay, so now we're starting to see he can beat some of the people below him. How's he against Onosho? He's 5-3. Okay. How's he against Hidenoumi? He's 1-5 now. So I'm not confident he's gonna have a winning record. I would call it a small loss, probably. Big loss, unlikely. So let's move on to Tobizaru. Tobizaru, 29 years old, wow. Tobizaru, career high rank right now of Maegashira 2. It was Maegashira 4, but with that 10-5 from Maegashira 8, he will fly back up the rankings. And I feel like this is just, looking at this chart, I feel like it's just going to be another, you flew a little too close to the sun, come back down. And if we want to go back, I want to see whose losses were 2 in these 2 6-9s. Loses to Hokuto Fuji, beats Myogiryu, Takara Fuji, who's in the neighborhood still, loses to Mitakeumi, Teruno Fuji, beats Takanosho and Takakeisho though, so, you know, good wins on his part. Can beat Kiribayama, who is also in the neighborhood. Lost to Enho. Then we see Natsu Basho. What we do here is go back. I mean, he beat an awful Koto Shouho, beat Terutsuyoshi, but like, look at all of these other matches he had. This is Maegashira 7. He didn't even really touch ranks above him, and he still got a 6-9. So Tobizaru, like, you know, we love the flying monkey. I don't think he's going to survive here. I don't think this is his time. I might even go so far as to say he'll get a big loss. We have not seen him very much against these upper ranks, and even then, I feel like his, we can see his 10-5 right here, too. The people above him that he beat, Okino Umi, he beat, you know, a struggling Takayasu. He's 2-0 against Takayasu. Beats Kaisei on the last day, too. Like, why did they feed him Kaisei, of all people? This is Maegashira 8, I guess in the neighborhood. But, like, that's a 10-5 is a good record, but none of his opponents were incredibly impressive. Like, Takayasu was supposed to beat him, but he beats Takayasu, and that's really the only good win he has. Like, he loses to Aoyama, who is right up there next to him. He loses to Meisei, who is right up there next to him. I don't think he's going to survive up here, and I think it's as simple as that. Aoyama and Chionokuni at Maegashira 3. The big question is going to be, is this the new Big Dan? Or is this a flash in the pan? This 11-4 right here is fantastic new style. And even if you remember during my commentary that you can find on my Twitch channel, which is linked in the description below, even through these 3 losses, I thought he looked fantastic in those fights. And, you know, with this slow burn all the way down, that was with his old style. That was with the stand-up, thrust, try for the Hataki Komi, and then either win or lose. And obviously on the losing end more often. Now he's actually pushing forward. I would love to see this new Aoyama fire off. And we already saw, like, he has a good... I think he has a good chance of beating Shodai. Probably has a good chance of beating some of the other Ozekis. And I think he will have a winning record here if it's the new Aoyama. If he, at any moment, goes back to, like... I mean, on day 15, he went back to the thrust pull down because you wouldn't have expected that. Because he was coming out with this new style, firing straight off the Tachi-ai and actually pushing forward. But I think if he pulls out his old style as like... let me go into my bag of tricks, then, like, if he uses that sparingly, I think he has a better chance. But on the other hand, against much stronger opponents, like, we can see all of the people he beat. Terutsuyoshi, who is let's see, where are you? Maegashira 10. You're kind of in the neighborhood, but we have to remember Maegashira 3, Kiss of Death, you're fighting up. You're fighting all of the Sanyaku ranked guys first before you get to fight the lower ranked guys. It's going to be hard for you. But he beats Wakataka Kage. He beats Tobizaru. He beats, you know, Dayamami, who is very far down there. He beats Tsurugisho, who is within the neighborhood. So he beat a lot of, you know, strong opponents. If we want to look at the end here, beating Takayasu, beating Wakataka Kage, beating Tobizaru, like, god damn. And then even if we want to go, you know, into his history by opponent, I love how Abi is always the first one to come up. He's only 3-5 against the Sanayama. You know, that's a winnable matchup. Shodai 3-5 again, but if it's this new style, I think he beats him. What, does he have a record against Teruno Fuji? He is 1-12 against Teruno Fuji. But what about Taka Keisho? He's 1-6 against Taka Keisho. So again, with this new style, I feel like he could beat Asanayama. He could beat Shodai. Probably still loses to Taka Keisho and Teruno Fuji though, but can beat Takayasu as we saw. What about Takanosho? 2-3 right there, so possible. Mitake Umi 4-4, another possible win. Daisho 6-4 in that matchup. I think Aoyama gets himself a winning record, and I don't think that's too big of a stretch. And I accidentally made his name green, and it's appropriate that the big new green belt gets a big new winning record. Now we have a surprising man across from him at Maegashira 3. Where are you, Chionokuni? Chionokuni is, let's see, he has had a long career. He's been all the way up here before. He has a keen boshi, but, you know, falling due to injury. We have to look at the recent results. And recent results, he got that 8-7, you know, taking the last few bouts off due to injury. I don't think he stands a chance. To put it simply, again, just looking at the chart, he's on the older end. He's, you know, came off of COVID. He got that 8 wins, but, you know, out due to injury after getting that 8th win, which, you know, he got his 8 wins, and now he's like, oh, fuck, I'm going up against all of the, you know, top dogs. I don't think there's much analysis that needs to be done here. Big loss. I do not believe he has a ghost of a chance here at the top of the banzuke. Let me just have a drink of my protein, which it's plant-based protein powder, so it tastes like vanilla flavored grass. And I like matcha tea. That tastes like dirt. I like matcha, but I don't like this plant-based protein powder. It's just, I mean, it's protein, but I should have got some whey. Then again, sorry for this little detour, but I wanted to start drinking protein, shakes after my workout, because that's good for rebuilding your muscles and stuff, and it'll keep me away from calorie dense, like, shitty food that I don't need to eat. And I knew that we had protein powder, but that was a while ago, and so I asked my mom, and she's like, oh, gave it to your cousin, who is a power lifter. So we still do have this plant-based protein powder, and I'm having it now, and it's kind of crappy. I mean, I'll drink it. Not gonna like it. She said I should have put like a frozen banana and blended it together, and it's like, yeah, that probably would have made sense. Alright. Back to the banzuke. Up next, we have Kiribayama and Myogiryu, who are staying at the same rank due to their 7 and 8 records, which, after a 3 and 12, getting back up to Maegashira 4 and then showing that he can hang. Kiribayama here. He can hang, kind of. Loses to Takanosho, though. Loses to Shodai. Has a losing record against the Sanayama and Terunofuji. And Takeyasu. But he beats everybody below him. He can beat Onosho. He can beat Takakeisho. Lost to Tochinoshin, but again, beats Daisho, beats a very struggling Takeda Fuji. And then we can try to see, show all the bouts by opponent. But you can kind of see around him as well, like, how does he do against Hoshoryu, if anything? Oh, he has a losing record, 0-1. Not really a big sample size. 1-0 against Myogiryu, again, not a really big sample size. He beat Onosho, Hide no Umi, 3-1. I'm going to start looking at the guys below him, because he shouldn't have the kiss of death at Maegashira 4. He shouldn't be only fighting up. He should have a bit of an easier time. Ichinojo, he's 0-1. Tochinoshin and Takeda Fuji, we saw his records are middling. Tsurugisho, 2-1. So, Endo, where are you? Versus Endo, 1-1. He doesn't have a big sample size, which means it's a struggle to try to predict how he's going to beat. But with a 7 and 8 at the last Basho, I think we could ask for another middling record. I don't know if it's going to be a win or a loss, which is kind of why I do the small win, small loss. So it's like, if I call it, I'm still within, what I predicted. Like, if I predicted an 8 and 7 and they get a 7 and 8, and I'm like, close enough, But if I predicted like a big loss, like I did at the last Basho for some people, predicting a big loss and then they all of a sudden get a big win, it's like, ooh, I was way wrong on that. So, Kiribayama, not really sure how to put him. 8 and 7 from Maegashira 8, 7 and 8 from Maegashira 4. Maybe another 7 and 8. I don't know. I really don't know. It could be a coin flip either way. I don't think he's going to have 10 wins. Unlikely he'll have 10 losses, but I'll put him on the losing side of it. On the other hand, Myogiryu has a lot of experience on this banzuke. He's 34 years old and he's been fucking a Maegashira, man. Oh wait, that sucks. He started off at Makushita 15, made it to Judio, and then was out for injury, so he fell all the way back down to Sandamne. That blows, dude. My god. But he's been in this top division for almost 10 years now. It's going to be 10 years in November. Without falling back down to Judio. Yeah, he's fell back down to Judio.
Only once. Wow. That's incredible. But anyway, you can see he has a shit ton of Keen Boshi too. Maegashira 4, 7, and 8 for him. He is on the older side. I feel like this could be a last stand, a last hurrah. The last time he was up here at Maegashira 3, 6, and 9, 7, and 8. Another losing record, probably imminent. Hell, even at Maegashira 6, he had a 4 and 11 back in March of 2020. But if we want to go by recent results, 4 and 11 from Maegashira 5, 8 and 7 from Maegashira 9. Kind of feels like he doesn't even belong here, because let's like go look at this. I'm gonna guess all of these black dots are Sanyaku ranked guys. Yep. Takakeisho, Terunofuji, Shodai, Asanayama, even Chiyonokuni he lost to. Beats Takanosho though, but it's another case of he can beat the people below him, but loses to the people above him, and even then he loses to people below him too, like Chiyonokuni. So again, similar to Kitabayama, I don't think he's going to have a good tournament here. I think he's going to have a losing record. I don't think it's going to be a big losing record. Definitely not a big losing record, but I'm not confident he can stay up here. Then again, getting older isn't really much of an argument with Aoyama's new resurgence and the fact that Akiseyama is still hanging in this top division, so you know, you never know. Hoshoryu, this is his, going to be his career highest rank. To his uncle's dismay, he's probably going to be fish out of water completely. Like we can see. Came in at Maizumo, flew up the ranks. Well, not really flew. 4 and 3, 4 and 3, 3 and 4 at that Makushita division. But this is going to be his career highest rank, 8 and 7. I'm just saying it straight up. He's going to flounder. He's going to flop. As fun and exciting as he is, you know, maybe he could steal some wins with his chaotic style. But when you look at some of his opponents that can either feed into that chaotic style or will control that, Wakataka Kage can feed into it and beat him at his own game. Takayasu, Shodai, Asanayama, basically everyone in the Sanyaku ranks are going to be able to control that. That's if he touches the Sanyaku ranks. But if we look at the people around him, like if he's not facing Sanyaku ranked people, he has a better chance of getting a winning record. We look at Ichinojo, like we can go back to bouts by opponent. He's not going to have a very large sample size, so this might be pretty easy. Ichinojo, he actually has a winning record against Aoyama. Ichinojo, he's 3 and 3. Does he have one against Onosho? He does. He has 0 and 1 against Onosho. Hide no Umi, 1 and 1. Kiribayama can feed into that chaotic style, but it's 1 and 0 in favor of Hoshoryu. Takara Fuji, nope, has not seen Takara Fuji. He has not seen Tochinoshin. Tsurugisho is not seen Tsurugisho. He has 0 and 1 against Endo. And then above him, Chiyonokuni, he's 1 and 1. Hokuto Fuji, he hasn't seen. So, a lot of matchups are going to be first time. He hasn't seen this Rikishi before. It's going to be his first time fighting against these people. So, will that give him an advantage? Maybe. And then even against some of the people around him, like Ichinojo, like Aoyama, he has experience with. He has seen them before. Will that give him an advantage too? Maybe. If Hoshoryu fights against the Sanyaku ranked members, he loses. I like 90% confident in that assertion. But he does have a chance at beating the people around him on the banzuke at Maegashira 4, 3, 2, even 6, 7, 8, you know, all the way down to 10, 11, 12, obviously. It would be, hold on, let me just check the last banzuke. Who are the Maegashira 5s fighting against? Although you went out early, you didn't touch the Sanyaku ranks, Endo. You went 3 and 12. You did touch the Sanyaku ranks once. So, if we want to go by this, it's highly likely that Hoshoryu does not meet us like more than 2 Sanyaku ranked members. And I think this lends him the advantage here. He's going to be going up against a lot of first-time opponents. Older opponents like Takeda Fuji, like Tochinoshin. Younger opponents, you know, like Kiribayama, Tobizaru, you know, Wakataka Kage. Opponents that he's going to need to learn how to fight against anyway. It's a stretch. But I'm going to walk back on what I said earlier. I'm going to say Hoshoryu might have a winning record here. I think it will happen. As unlikely as it might seem, I think he could pull away with a winning record. And then after that, will be you're playing with the big boys now from Prince of Egypt. And then he's going to fly too close to the sun and burn. Up next, we have Onosho. The last time he was up at the Maegashira 2 slot, 2 and 13. After that, Maegashira 2, 7 and 8. Maegashira 1, 4 and 11. But now he's back to Maegashira 5. I think it's as simple as he beats these lower guys, but he has a mental block against the higher guys. I don't really need to do much analysis on there. I think he's going to have another winning record. Onosho, the last time he was at Maegashira 9, 10 and 5. Maegashira 3 even, 9 and 6. I think it'd just be that like Maegashira 1, Maegashira 2 block. Actually, you could see it. Maegashira 2, 2 and 13, knocked back down. Made it all the way back up to Maegashira 1, 4 and 11, knocked back down. Watch, he's going to get to Komusubi, get a double-digit loss, knocked back down. Then he's going to get to Sekiwake, double-digit loss, knocked that back down. That would be a pretty funny arc where it's like, ooh, slowly climbing up and boom, down. Ooh, slowly climbing back up, boom, down. Kind of like Takeda Fuji, 9 and 6, 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 2 and 13, 9 and 6, 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 2 and 13. I think Onosho is going to have a winning record. Whether it's big or small, I don't know. But I think it's going to be safe to say he's going to have a good Basho coming up. Up next, Hide no Umi. Where are you on the banzuke, Hide no Umi? Oh, you're all the way down at Maegashira 15. And of course, Ichinojo, who is staying at the same rank. Hide no Umi has not been up here before. This is going to be his career high rank. His career high before this was Maegashira 12. He's been in Judio for quite a long time. And 10 and 5 from Maegashira 15. All right, let's see how you do. Plus 9 ranks. Like, Jesus. That's an over promotion. 31 years old. I mean, again, I feel like I don't need to do too much analysis on this in particular. As recently as November, he had a losing record in Judio. Now he's going to be going up against the top Maegashira men. I don't think he stands a chance. We can humor it. What's his record at this last Basho? 10 and 5. Okay. Beats both Maegashira 16. Loses to Ishiuda though. Loses to Tsurugisho, who's in the neighborhood. Beats Kotoeko. Has a winning record against Kotoeko, who's in the neighborhood. Beats Yu Takayama, who was injured. Teretsuyoshi. He's in the neighborhood. Ryuden. He's outside of the neighborhood, but he's close by. You know, 2 losses right there. Beats Daishomaru, beats Midori Fuji, Chiyoshoma, Chiyotairyu, Kotoshoho is out. Loses to Tochinoshin, who is, right below him. Beats Hoshoryu, who is right above him. But then we have to consider how he do against Takeda Fuji, who he's probably never seen before. So let's show all bouts by opponent. Takeda Fuji, nope, has never seen Takeda Fuji. Has a 5 and 3 record against Onosho, actually. Interesting. 0 and 5 against Myogiryu. 1 and 3 against Chionokuni. 5 and 1 against Meisei, actually. That's interesting. 6 and 2 against Wakataka Kage. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon. 1 and 1 against Hokuto Fuji. But he's not going to be facing those guys until later on in the Basho, so we need to see how he's going to do against the people around him. So let's see. Kiribayama, where are you? Okay, losing record against Kiribayama. Kageyaki, technically a winning record against Kageyaki. We saw Tsurugisho. Shimano Umi has not faced Shimano Umi. Tamawashi, 1-1. Terutsuyoshi, another even record, 5-6. Kotonowaka, losing record, 1-2. Chiyoshoma, losing record, 5-6. So what I'm gathering here is it's going to be very coin flippy. I mean, anything can happen. He could get a winning record. I don't want to believe he will get a winning record. I'm going to say he gets a losing record. I'm not going to go so far as to say he'll get a big losing record, because we did just see winning records against people like Wakataka Kage, Meisei, you know, people above him. But he has to beat the people around him. Can't beat Tochinoshin, or rather, struggles against Tochinoshin, Tsurugisho, Kageyaki. So, we'll have to see, basically. I think he's going to have a losing record. This is his career highest rank. That's Magashita 6. I don't believe he's going to succeed that much. I mean, he might get a few good wins, but I don't think he's going to that much. Ichinojo, he has been up here before. He was one of the fastest Rikishi to ever reach the Sanyaku ranks. He was a Sekiwake when he didn't have long enough hair to put it in a top knot. That's amazing. He went 13-2 from Judio 3, and then 13-2 again from Magashita 10 to get that Sekiwake spot. And that has been his career high. He has hit that again in 2018 and 2019. And now he's on the fight back up, coming off of an injury. And I remember that injury at Magashita 2 that he had. He fell onto his elbow, injured it pretty badly, had to take off. Still recuperating. Solid 9-7s, 8-7s, 9-6s. This 8-7 back in November is memorable because he just ran the fucking table. Look at this. He had 7 losses in 9 days. He had to win on the last 6 days, day 10 to day 15. He runs the table. It was incredible. Magashita 6, I feel like he's still getting back into the groove of things, but he almost had an opportunity to get that winning record. He needed 1 win on the last 3 days and just didn't get it. So I feel like, I mean, he was facing off against people above his pay grade, but he was at Sekiwake before, so you would expect, like, oh, he might be able to succeed against these guys. And I did mention the last 2 Basho, not this previous Basho so much, but the 2 Basho before that, there was he's been more fiery and more agile, and I think it's controlling that new style. He just needs to get that under his belt. And I think Ichinojo is going to have a winning record at this next Basho. I think it's going to happen. If he can get this new style under control, he can definitely get back up to the Sanyaku ranks again, I believe. I don't even want to comment on Tochinoshin. I just think he's going to lose. Takeda Fuji. I love Takeda Fuji. All right, let's actually take a look at Tochinoshin. Last time he was at Magashita 7, 9-6. Back up to Magashita 4, 4-11. Only fell 3 ranks. 7 and 8 there, maintaining the same rank. I want to say he's on his way out. He's been on his way out for like the past year. He has not been looking good. Even in this 10-5 at Magashita 11, that's like a ghost of his former self. He still has some left in the tank, obviously, but like 33 years old. His knees are giving out. His back is, you know, he's got band-aids all over his butt. I'm getting lazy with these predictions right now, but I don't want to talk about Tochinoshin anymore. He just makes me depressed. Can you lose and retire? No, that's rude as hell. No, he's still a very good Rikishi, obviously, but I think it's going to be another small losing record. If anything, it's going to be between 8-7 and 7-8, I think. Like, it's not going to be big either way. If he does get a winning record, it's going to be 8-7 or 9-6. And again, that's why I do like the small loss versus small win guesses. I need to make the big wins a little darker. There we go. Now they stand out a little more. Yeah, Tochinoshin. I don't think he's gonna do that well. Takada Fuji. 9-6, 9-6, 3-12. Oh, don't worry. He's gonna have another string of 8 and 7s to climb all the way back up. But no, it's calling a middling record is almost cheating. Because he always gets a middling record. Unless it's a big loss. Just a long string of 7 and 8s. Obviously a good Rikshi. He was at Maegashita 1, but that fire that he had coming back up, like there were 2 opportunities for him to get 10 wins in the previous 2 Basho before March, and just couldn't get it. The fire is slowly fading. He might get another small losing record, I think. Again, to call a 7 and 8 is almost cheating. Like, look at this. 7 and 8, 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 7 and 8. Kinboshi 7 and 8. 8 and 7, 8 and 7, 9 and 6, 7 and 8, 7 and 8. It's like, come on, dude. But yeah, I don't think Takada Fuji is going to be climbing back up the banzuke very far. Tsurugisho, I think, is in a similar boat too. I don't think he's going to be climbing up that far. And then across from him is Endo, who was fighting a bit through injury, managed to get 5 wins at least, but you know. Tsurugisho got that Judio Yusho, his second Judio Yusho, and then immediately gets a 9 and 6. One of those was a Fusensho. Who did he fight on day 15 that he lost to? Meisei. So now that he is getting a little bit closer to those higher ranked people, I want to believe he will start to lose more. I gotta say though, his style is not exciting. It's not impressive, but he gets wins. I mean, he beat Aoyama, which was very surprising to me. He has a good record against Kotoeko, 7 and 6. Beat that head to head. Beat Ryuden for the first time in his career, who is also still in the neighborhood. And you have to consider that a lot of these guys are also still in the neighborhood too. Akisayama still in the neighborhood. He beats him. Chiono O, obviously not in the neighborhood. Chiono Kuni, who is very high above him. He might get Chiono Kuni on like week 2 after Chiono Kuni is fed to the wolves. So that's could be another win. Oh wait, that was a Fusensho victory. That doesn't really count. Beats Midori Fuji, who again still in the neighborhood. So he can beat the people around him, I think. And then with the older men that are struggling, I think, no, I don't, I mean, he is on the older side himself. It's 29. It's not like the age 30 is like a hard, all right, now you have to start being bad. But it's hard to convince myself that Tsurugisho will do well. But it's also hard to convince myself that he'll do very poorly. He flies under the radar, I think, and it's because, you know, this is going to be 1 rank below his career high, and even back then he got a 6 and 9. He got another 10 and 5 from the lower ranks. It could just be he's going to be stuck in the lower Maegashita ranks for a little while. I don't think he's ever going to break up into Maegashita 5, 4, 3, and if he does, it could be this Basho. If he does, it would have to be this Basho, because if you look at the people around him, again, aging Rikshi coming back from injury, Endo, Takada Fuji, Tochinoshin, you know, even above him, Yogiryu is on the older side, Hoshoryu, he's fought against Hoshoryu, who's young, chaotic. Tsurugisho, I don't think he'll be able to wrangle that in. Ichinojo, bigger, very same style. I think he loses to Ichinojo in that head-to-head. But you never know. And it's hard to call these guys that are not very notable. Because, you know, I pay attention to Hoshoryu. I pay attention to Aoyama. I pay attention to, you know, Ichinojo. I don't really pay attention to Tsurugisho. I don't really pay attention to Tamawashi. I don't really pay attention to Ryuden, aside from his booty popping technique. So it's hard to call. It's gonna be
I'll cheat again. It's going to be a middling record. Could be a winning record. It's possible he gets a winning record here, even if it's another 9-6 or an 8-7. I think it's possible. Might come with another Fusen show or two. I don't know, but I think it's possible Tsurugisho gets a winning record here. Endo, out for injury. 30 years old. His highest rank ever. Komusubi. A couple of Kimboshi to his name. He was at Maegashira 5, went 7-8, maintained the same rank, went 5-5, and now lowers to Maegashira 8. The last time he was this low, Maegashira 7, back in November, he goes 8-7. I think purely it's going to be he's not fully recovered from his injury. He's going to try to keep fighting, even though he's not fully recovered. He's going to have a losing record. Like, I don't think I even need to analyze his matchups, because this always happens. Arikshi comes back too early from injury because, you know, he doesn't want to fall all the way back down to Judio. Why would Endo want to do that? So he's going to come back. He's going to get, like, you know, 6 or 7 wins. Or maybe in, like, the first 5 days, he's going to get 2 wins. He's gonna not look that good because, you know, he's fighting through the injury. He's probably gonna try to get 3, 4, 5 wins and then dip again, kind of like he did here. Because we can see Maegashira 5 East. Who are your opponents that you lost to? Myogiryu, Kiribayama, Tamawashi. They're all in the neighborhood. You beat Ichinojo somehow. Ichinojo has a better record, so I think Ichinojo could come back and win that matchup again. Beat Shimano Umi, who he actually has a very fantastic record against and is in the neighborhood, right below him, Maegashira 9. Loses to Okino Umi, even matchup 10-10. Shitate Dashinage against Tochinoshin. Beats Kageyaki, beats Kotonowaka. Kotonowaka, young, inexperienced. I think Kotonowaka is finally going to come into his own here, but then he loses. But then we look at the people he lost to. We look at some of the people that he beat that, you know, it could go either way. And if he's fighting on injury, those are losses. Endo is not going to have a winning record. I'm like 90% certain Endo is not going to have a winning record. Shimano Umi and Kageyaki up next. Shimano Umi 4-11 at his career high rank of Maegashira 3. Shimano Umi Koyo. He is 31 years old as well. 4-11 from Maegashira 3, but to get him up there, he got a 9-6, and before that, an 11-4 from Maegashira 17. So he's pretty streaky. He's big wins or big loses. Gotta win big or go home. Shimano Umi from Maegashira 9. I think it'll be similar to his Maegashira 10. Excuse me. If he keeps up with recent trends, it could be another small winning hand. But if I look at the history, I mean, 9-6 for Maegashira 16. He might just be a lower Maegashira man that, you know, got really lucky on an over promotion. I mean, 9-6 all the way up to Maegashira 3. That's a little too much. 4-11 afterwards, and, you know, we could see his opponents. Maegashira 3, he's fighting the Sanyaku ranked guys. Asanayama, Shodai, Takakeisho. Even loses to that injured Endo. Loses to Takanosho, Takayasu. He beats Myogiryu for the first time in his career. Or no, loses to Myogiryu. Beats Kiribayama for the first time in his career. And those guys, they're way above him, but they're still in the neighborhood. Beats Hokuto Fuji. Says actually beat Teruno Fuji. That was a fantastic match to beat Teruno Fuji, but I feel like that was a fluke, honestly. Loses to Kageyaki, who's right across from him. Loses to Takeda Fuji, who's right above him. Loses to Onosho, who's right above him in the neighborhood. Loses to Chiyo Tairyu, who's near him, below him. So I don't think Shimano Umi is going to have a winning record here. I don't think it's going to be a big losing record, but definitely not a winning record. Kageyaki across from him. Kageyaki, those long arms, that thrusting matchup. Career high of Maegashira 3, has had 2 straight 6 and 9s since then, after getting that 5 and 10. I think this is where he turns it around, because it's difficult for Rikishi that have not had him as an opponent to really deal with those long arms. And his thrusting is pretty good. I mean, he's got up here for a reason. He's good enough to be up here. He made it to Maegashira 3 off of an 8 and 7 from Maegashira 6. I think it's just the double-digit losses around, you know, that Sanyaku level, because we can go back and we can see, like, he's probably losing to Sanyaku ranked members, Terunofuji, Takayasu, Mitakeumi. We go back a little bit further, losing to Takakeisho, Hakuho, of course he's going to lose to. Shodai, yeah, but he beats Enho. He beats, I actually got that win against the Sanayama, or loss against the Sanayama, too, who he has a winning record against. Okinoumi is in the neighborhood. He has a losing record against him there. Beat Kotonowaka, but loses to Ikioi. Ikioi is in the neighborhood. But, no, wait, no, he's not. Ikioi retired. I was thinking of Kotoeko. How did I get them mixed up? Yeah, no. Loses to Ikioi while he was on his way out. I mean, he beat injured Yutakayama at Kyushu 2020. Beat Endo, who is now injured. He, I mean, no. Fucking black dots are losses, Leo. Loses to Endo, who is now injured, so that might be a win in his favor. Loses to Tamawashi, who is in the neighborhood, right below him. Beats Onosho, who is, you know, above him. Loses to Wakataka, who's way above him now, so. If we go back to this Basho, he loses to Kaisei. He loses to Chiyotairyu, but he beats, you know, Tobizaru, who's way up now. He beats Okinoumi, who's way down now. He beat Shimano-umi, who's, you know, right next to him. Beat Kotoeko, who's in the neighborhood. So, loses to Hoshoryu for the second time as well. So, I think this is another opportunity for Kageyaki to kind of turn it around and boost up. And it's not like he does bad against Tochinoshin either. Let me check those bouts by opponent, because I want to, you know, double check my memory banks. You have Tochinoshin. He's 1 and 6. Oh jeez, I must have mixed that up with something else. But yeah, Tochinoshin in the neighborhood. He might lose to that. Terutsuyoshi 4 and 2, so that's a winning matchup. Let's see, Okinoumi 6 and 6 even. Let's look above him. Ichinojo 2 and 8, big losing record. Endo, closer losing record. Hide no Umi, close. It's a -2 because of 2 Fusensho probably, but you know, 3 and 2, not bad. Kiseyama, he's 4 and 1 against him. Dayamami 2 and 1, not too many matches there. Ryuden, oh, he's never fought Ryuden? Wow, really? Chiyotairyu 4 and 6. Kaisei, I think it could have been a situation where you know, he gets too high, he has his confidence kind of busted, and he needs to find himself again. And I think this is where he can do it. Because he, in the previous tournament, he lost to people that you wouldn't expect him to lose to. And even around this neighborhood, there are a lot of people that he loses to that he can beat. And I think he just needs to get that confidence back in him. And I feel like this is the time to do it. If not here, then he'll probably fall to like Maegashira 12, 13 at the next banzuke. And then that's where he'll get it back. Because, you know, he'll be up against Ishiuda again. And, you know, Enho again, who he has a very fantastic record against. So you could just need some confidence building. Up next, we have Tamawashi. And across from him, Terutsuyoshi. Where are you? 8 and 7, Maegashira 13. Tamawashi, ooh, he's an old man, 36 years old. Wow, even Tamawashi has a Yusho. Tamawashi has a Yusho back in January of 2019. I think that was before I started watching. A couple of Kimboshi to his name. Losing records since getting back up to Maegashira 4, Maegashira 2. This could be another situation where it's an older man on the way out. 2 years ago, he got that Yusho, but, 34-year-old man getting that. He still has a little bit left in the tank. He loses to Shionokuni in the neighborhood, Kiribayama in the neighborhood, Wakataka Kage way too high. All of these guys way too high up for him. Loses to Terutsuyoshi, who's right next to him. Loses to Ichinojo above him. Beat Kageyaki, but 4-2, not too big of a sample size. Beat Endo, who was injured but has a very big record against. Beat Tochinoshin, who, that's a lot of history right there. 13-22, historically in favor of Tochinoshin. Loses to Okinoumi, but again, that's a 50-50 split. So he has a lot of experience, and he has a lot behind him. But then you see he loses to first-time opponent Kotonowaka, Hoshoryu. These newer, younger guys. He beat them. These newer, younger guys, he still has the edge over. But I feel like Kotonowaka is going to learn. Hoshoryu is in the neighborhood above him. Hoshoryu is probably going to learn. I don't know how I keep messing up these white dots and these black dots. Like, that's just like, I'm dumb. But you know what I'm saying. If we want to look at these, let's see, bouts by opponent. We can look at his nearby opponents. Shimano Umi, 0-2 against him. Kotoeko, 5-0 against Kotoeko. Okinoumi, an even 12-12 split. Daiamami, 1-0. Kiseyama, 1-0, but the only time they fought was in 2016. Ryuden, losing record against Ryuden. Now if we go up, Tsurugisho. Never seen Tsurugisho. Endo, that's another, big, long history. 14-11 in favor of him. Endo coming off of injury. That might be a win in his favor. Onosho is in the neighborhood, a losing record 3-5. Ichinojo, an even 8-8. So, honestly, could be a coin flip for Tamawashi. Could probably go either way, win or lose for a lot of these matchups. So, it's hard to call. You never know. My gut tells me losing record. Across from him, we have Terutsuyoshi. The Salt Bay made it up to Maegashita 3 and then got smacked all the way back down for it. And now he's on his way back up. Moves up 3 ranks with an 8-7 record from Maegashita 13 to Maegashita 10. And again, I think this is a situation where he's a good middle Maegashita man. He's a good rank and filer. He's notable only because of his salt throwing and, if you ask other people, probably because of his cauliflower ears. And, well, obviously he can't hang at the top. 5-10, 5-10, 7-8 in Maegashita 12. Middle Maegashita man, maybe even a lower Maegashita man. He's young, so he could still, find something. He's only 26 years old. Hold on, when's his birthday? January 17th? Ah, I'm older than him. By like 6 months. Yeah, he can still find his way. He can still find a new style. Or find something that works for him more consistently. Let me look at bouts by opponent here. And if we want to go into opponents around him, we got Chiyoshoma, 3-3. Kotonowaka, 2-2. Kotoeko, 12-7 in favor of Terutsuyoshi. They fight every single fucking tournament, don't they? Okinoumi, 1-1. A lot of 50-50 matchups here. Kiseyama, 3-4, another 50-50. Daiamami, 3-4, another 50-50. Ryuden, 5-6, another 50-50. Let's go above him. Tamawashi, 1-2, kind of 50-50. Kageyaki, 2-4, a little advantage towards Kageyaki. Shimano Umi, 4-6. Tsurugisho, 5-8. Got never seen Takara Fuji. Tochinoshin actually has a winning record against Tochinoshin. Ichinojo, 0-1. Hideno Umi, 6-5. So around him, he has a lot of coin flips. And a lot of those coin flips are on the losing side right now. But I feel like once he, comes more into his own style, not to say that he doesn't already have his own style, because he's been wrestling for 11 years. He's been wrestling since he was friggin' 15. Like, Jesus. But, you know what I mean. He needs to come into it. He needs to, do his thing. And if he wins enough of those coin flips, it's obviously going to go in his favor. And even though a lot of those, well, they're not exactly like 50-50 coin flips. They're like, 60-40 kind of against him. But I feel like, he could have the power behind him. He might get a winning record here. Up next, Kotonowaka and Chiyoshoma. Kotonowaka with a losing record of 6-9. Chiyoshoma moving up with an 8-7. Kotonowaka, another young man. You don't have to feel down, I say, young man. Actually able to hang a little bit at this rank of Maegashira 8, his career high so far. Before that, it was Maegashira 13, and then he went in 10-5 from Maegashira 15. So this could be good for him. Lost against Kageaki, losing record there. Losing against Chionokuni, who is way far above his pay grade now. Beat Chionokuni, my bad. Losing to Tochinoshin, but that's a 1-1 matchup right there. That's Fusensho. 1-1 against Tobizaru. It's going to be a lot of small sample sizes, and we're going to have to try to match up the styles. And I think even if Yutakiyama didn't leave for injury, that would have been a victory for him anyway. Yutakiyama is sadly busted right now. Ken beat Terutsuyoshi. Almost always beats Chiyoshoma. Ooh, oh, look at that. He's right next to Chiyoshoma. Ken beat Ichinojo most times, but Ichinojo beat him the last time, Hataki Komi. So I feel like it's one of those things where you go up, you get a little razzled by the higher skill level, you come back down, now you know what to expect. You go back up, you get a little razzled again, come back down a little less this time. I think it's likely Kotonowaka gets a winning record here. It's very likely that he gets a winning record here. And it's because he's a young man. It's because, again, he's coming into his own. He's getting more experience against these people. He's only 23 years old. He has a lot of time ahead of him. And even if it's just a small winning record, he has time to experiment with his style. If he gets a losing record, I won't be mad, as long as it's not like a double-digit losing record. But you know what I'm trying to get at here. He has a lot of time to come into his own, and he is going to be better off for it, I think. Should he continue taking his time, learning his opponents, learning the matchups, that kind of thing. So I think here he gets a small winning record because he has experience against the people around him. And I don't think he will struggle too much. I don't think he'll struggle too much. Might get, another small losing record if anything, but, Chiyoshoma, coming off of 3 straight winning records, all of them very small. Now the question is, will he be able to maintain that record up here at Maegashira 11? If we look at the people around him, Koto Eiko, he has a losing record against. Tsurugisho, he has a winning record against. Aoyama, who's way far above his pay grade now, we won't know. Kaisei, even. Kisayama beats him all the time. Dayamami, coin flip. Midori Fuji, not enough sample size. Still lost to Yutakiyama, 3-9, Jesus. Loses the coin flip to Terutsuyoshi. Always loses to Tobizaru, who is way above the pay grade now. He won't be seeing him. Loses to Hide no Umi, who he has a winning record against, who is, again, in the neighborhood, kind of. Hide no Umi is Maegashira 6 to Maegashira 11. They'll probably meet. Kotonowaka, right next to him. Can't beat Kotonowaka. Winning record against Ryuden, who is, right down there. Koto Shoho, he's not even at this tournament. Beats Onosho. And has a decent record against him. So, if we just look at the people around him, let's do bouts by opponent. We can look at, he has that losing record against Kotonowaka. Koto Eiko, losing record, big losing record, 4-8. Oki no Umi, 4-5, not too good.
Kiseyama, he's undefeated against a Kiseyama. Dayamami, 5-4. Coin flip. Kaisei, 4-4. Coin flip. Midori Fuji, 2-1. Not too much sample size there. Ishiura, 7-8 as a coin flip. Chiyomaru has never fought Chiyomaru, and I'm going all the way down to Aqua here. 4-2 against Aqua. And then if we want to go up, Terutsuyoshi, 3-3, coin flip. Tamawashi, 0-2, can't beat him. Kageyaki, 7-9, kind of a coin flip. Shimano Umi, 2-2, coin flip. Endo, 4-6. Tsurugisho, 4-2. So, Chiyoshoma, I think if he gets the good matchups he needs, because, you know, you only have 15 days, so if he gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, you know, he might, if he's only fighting down, which is probably going to be likely, I think he has a good chance for another small winning record here. Because, we look at, you know, Aqua has to fight up and maybe against some Judio around him. So let's say Aqua gets like 2 or 3 Judio matches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So Kotonowaka and Chiyoshoma kind of have to fight down for a lot of this tournament. Probably Terutsuyoshi and Tamawashi as well, which is something I didn't consider. So I might want to flip Tamawashi back to green because he's going to be fighting down because these guys have to fight around each other. So, you know, the lower you go, Midori Fuji has to fight up. Ishiura has to fight up. Chiyomaru has to fight up. Aqua has to fight up. So, it's likely that these guys at the top of the bottom here get good records because they do have good, favorable records against the guys that are already down here. Alright. Up next, we have Koto Eko and Okino Umi. 3-12 for Okino Umi. Koto Eko, one of my viewers' favorites. Koto Eko coming off of an 8-7. Middling records for a good amount of time. Coming off of 2 double digits from the Judo division. 11-4 and 10-5. Last time he was up this high, he got 2-13. That's incredibly bad. 2-13 from Maegashira 13. Loses to Terutsuyoshi. Loses to Azumariu even. Tochi Ozan. Okay, loses to Tai Kaisei. Probably not going to be fighting against Tokushori from where he is. Loses to Kiribayama, who is outside of the neighborhood. Ikiyoi is retired, loses to Kageyaki, who's in the neighborhood. Loses to Chiyotairyu, who's outside of the neighborhood. Loses to Tsurugisho in the neighborhood. Onosho, kind of in the neighborhood. Tamawashi, right nearby. Sarano Umi, nowhere near now. Loses to a lot of people that fucking went down to Judio. You gotta ask what happened during this one. But manages to recover. 11-4, 10-5, 8-7. 2 6-9s. Not terrible, but you got to consider 5-loss streak to go 6-9, 3-loss streak to finish 6-9. Feels really bad, but manages to get that 8-7. Koto Eko, I just want to look at the people around him. Koto Eko versus people like Okinoumi, can't win against him. 0-4. Kiseyama, 4-5, coin flip. Dayamami, 2-5. Ryuden, and this is just going down. 5-5 coin flip. Chiyotairyu, 3-4 coin flip. Kaisei, 2-4, not favored. Midori Fuji, 2-0. Okay, Ishiura, 3-5, not favored. Chiyomaru, 4-5 coin flip. Aqua, 4-2 favored. And then a little bit above him, Kotonowaka. Never seen Kotonowaka in battle. Chiyoshoma, 8-4 against Chiyoshoma. Let's go up one more rank. Tamawashi, 0-5, can't win. Terutsuyoshi, 7-12, not favored. So too many matchups that are not in his favor, I think. He's probably going to be going down unless he can pull out something brand new. Now hold on, let me take another sip.
I hope everyone watching this video right now enjoys. It's a longer form sumo discussion. I don't know. I don't listen to any other sumo podcast, so I wouldn't know how they do this kind of thing. And they probably have more than one person talking about it because, to be honest, the only people I have around me that like sumo are not as invested. So they wouldn't, they probably would not be as into this kind of deeper dive as I am, you know what I mean? So it's whatever. I enjoy myself, and I hope you guys are also enjoying this video. It's probably gonna be a full 2 hours long too. Jeez. All right, Oki no Umi up next. I gotta change the name to Oki no Umi, then to Fukuoka after he got demoted, and then back to Oki no Umi after he came back up. It's like, oh, you lost your name. You're not allowed to use it. Oki no Umi, 3 and 12 for Maegashira 5 after going 7 and 8, maintaining the rank. 6 and 9 for Maegashira 3, 4 and 11. He is at a huge loss streak. I don't think this is the end for him though, because he did go, 9 and 6 from Komusubi back in July. So, we're only a year separated from that. And, despite him aging 35 years old, I don't want to say, this is it for him. Loses to Ichinojo, bad record against Ichinojo in the neighborhood. Myogiryu outside of the neighborhood. Kiribayama outside of the neighborhood loses anyway. Tochinoshin near the neighborhood. Endo 10 and 10, could have been a bad coin flip. Kageyaki, coin flip. Otoronwaka first time. Tobizaru out of the neighborhood. Chionokuni out of the neighborhood. Hoshoryu loses, but out of the neighborhood. Had to fight Takakeisho. Shimano Umi is nearby. Lost that coin flip. Takeda Fuji, kind of nearby. It's like, I don't want to believe he's losing. What's up? I'm working on a video. It's only sumo stuff. Let's see. So, let's see. Who else is he fighting? Akiseyama? Okinoumi has never fought Akiseyama? Interesting. Alright, Daiamami. 3-0 against Daiamami or Ryuden. Because remember, Okinoumi is likely going to be fighting down for most of this tournament because Maegashira 17 to 14, 13 have to fight up. Winning record against Ryuden, but it's a coin flip. Chiyotairyu, 5 and 9, definitely not favored. Kaisei, 7 and 10, not favored. Midori Fuji, 0 and 1, not enough information. Ishiura, 5 and 1 against Ishiura, so maybe a win there. Chiyomaru, 3 and 5, not favored. Aqua, never fought against Aqua either, so I can't say I'm very confident in Okinoumi's chances here. Probably gonna have a losing record. And now we move over to Kiseyama and Daiamami. Let's see, where are you guys? Kiseyama, Daiamami moving up from that Maegashira 16 spot. Making sure he's not the last man there. Kiseyama, honestly, nobody expected him to even make it back up to the Maegashira ranks and even maintain it for so long. Career high of Maegashira 12, achieved after being a Rikshi for 13 years at this last Basho. And I don't think he's on his way out just yet. I mean, it's possible he has another losing record, but it could be another small losing record. Let's, I think I want to jump straight to the head-to-head stats. Bouts by opponent, because again, he's going to be fighting down. So I want to see his matchups against the lower people. So like day 1 is going to be against Daiamami. He's 1 and 5, probably not going to win that. Ryuden, 2 and 2, coin flip. Chiyotairyu, 1 and 1, not enough information. Kaisei, 1 and 2, not enough. Midori Fuji, 4 and 1 against Midori Fuji. Ishiura, 4 and 5. So another good coin flip. Chiyomaru, 2 and 4, not favored. Aqua, 4 and 4, good coin flip. So what I'm seeing so far is Ikisayama, if he fights below him, he has a good chance of coming out on the other side. Like, he had, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people below him. He has a good chance of being 5 and 3 or even 6 and 2 on the other side of that. And then, if we go to the people above him, Kotoeko, 5 and 4. Coin flip. Okinoumi, never fought Okinoumi. Kotonowaka, 3 and 1, great matchup for him. Chiyoshoma, 0 and 5, unfortunately. Tamawashi, 0 and 1, not enough information. Terutsuyoshi, 4 and 3. So I think Ikisayama has a good chance of, if he can maintain, you know, the energy he has, I think he has a good chance of getting a small winning record at the very least. And I know I'm being really reluctant to give out the big wins and the big losses, you know, the 10 plus wins, 10 plus losses, but a lot of this is going to be really difficult to call because so many of these Rikishi have so many coin flip matchups ahead of them that it's like, well, if one goes one way and another goes another way, well, you know, someone loses the coin flip 3 times in a row on days 1 through 3, that shatters your confidence. Now they're probably going to get that big loss. If they go 1 and 2, probably not as bad. 2 and 1, who knows? You know, anything can happen from day to day. Up next is Dayamami, and I think we'll just go straight to doing the same thing as we did with Ikisayama. Let's see, Ryuden, 7 and 4 against Ryuden. Chiyotairyu, 1 and 0, not enough info. Kaisei, where are you? 1 and 4, so probably going to be a loss. Midori Fuji, 0 and 4. Ishiura, 1 and 2, not enough info. Chiyomaru, 8 and 2 against Chiyomaru. And Aqua, 2 and 1. So we have like 3 coin flips, 2 definite losses. Well, not definite. Again, anything can happen. Like 3 coin flips, 2 potential losses, and 1 potential win. And that's just the people below him. Then we actually go into the other matchups like Kotoeko, 5 and 2 against him. Okinoumi, 0 and 3. Kotonowaka, 3 and 3, another coin flip. Oops. Chiyoshoma, 4 and 5. So it's not really looking good for Dayamami here. For the same reasons that it is looking good for Ikisayama, it's not looking good for Dayamami. Too many potential losing matchups ahead of him. And too many coin flips ahead of him too. That's no, just might lose out on. Maegashira 14, we have Ryuden. His new booty popping technique is losing him a lot of matches, and he should probably get rid of that. And then across from him is Chiyotairyu, who shaved his sideburns, which is probably how he lost all of his power. So anyway, Ryuden went 6 and 9 at the last tournament, 4 and 11 before that. 9 and 6, but I mean, you look at that 4 loss streak going into the last 4 days of the Basho right there. It doesn't look good for Ryuden, honestly. Show all bouts by opponents. We can see Kaisei is 5 and 1 against Kaisei. Chiyotairyu 4 and 4. Chiyoshoma 1 and 4. Chiyomaru should be right there. Chiyomaru 6 and 1. Wow. Midori Fuji. Never seen Midori Fuji. Aqua 2 and 4. So kind of middling as it stands. And then let's go back above him, like Kotonowaka 2 and 0. Chiyoshoma 1 and 4. Kotoeko 5 and 5. Okinoumi 4 and 5. So a couple more coin flips in there. Again, it's hard to say if he's going to have a winning record or a losing record when there are so many, like, head-to-head matchups that are just split even, you know? It's like, if Ryuden has a good day, yeah, sure, he'll beat all of those coin flip matchups and he'll get a double-digit win record. If he has a bad day, it's the complete opposite, you know? Who's going to have a good day and who's going to have a bad day, and on what day? Is Ikisayama going to be on fire the first 3 days? I hope Ryuden isn't in that warpath, you know? So, it's hard to call. But I think calling it a small win is going to be a safer bet. And we have no longer Sumo Elvis Chiyotairyu. And now we're kind of just blitzing through these last few guys. Not that I intended on that. 5-16 against Kaisei. My God. Midori Fuji 0-1. Ishiura, where are you? 6-5. So another coin flip. Chiyomaru. So many Chiyos. Wow. All right, he can't fight Chiyomaru. They're from the same stable. Aqua has never fought against Aqua, strangely enough. Kiseyama 1-1. Dayamami 0-1. Kotoeko 4-3. Okinoumi 9-5. So even just looking at the people around him, you know, some seem to look like definite wins. Some seem to look like definite losses. I'd like to see him win, but I don't think that's going to be likely. Because, again, coming off of COVID, did not look very good. And even before that, it was only a 9-6 to get him up to Maegashira 11. Back here at Maegashira 14, you know, we're getting people like Ishiura back up into the top division. Kaisei is right there on his heels. I don't see Chiyotairyu being a big winner here. Next up, we have Kaisei and Midori Fuji. Kaisei 8-7, Midori Fuji, where were you? You were 5-10 from Maegashira 10. Kaisei, oh, his name is Ricardo. Ricky! Kaisei coming off of that COVID absence to an 8-7 record, losing on the final day. Even before that, you know, middling losing records, 6-9, 7-8, 6-9. Before that, 8-7. I mean, he's maintained lower Maegashira for more than a year now after falling back down to Judio, losing that playoff back in November of 2019 with that 11-4. So, I mean, obviously not looking too bad. Let's take a look at the bounce by opponent. Midori Fuji 1-0. Ishiura, that one's got some history, 3-2. Chiyomaru 4-3. Aqua 1-1. So he's favored in the matchups below him. So I mean, that's not going to be a guaranteed 4 wins. But we go back up. Kiseyama 2-1. Dayamami 4-1. Kotoeko 4-2. Okinoumi 10-7. Ryuden, that seems to be his only big matchup that he would lose here. Chiyotairyu 16-5. Jesus. So a lot of likely wins in his neighborhood. Maybe I'll break the mold and give him a big win prediction. Give him 10 wins in May for me. Would ya, Hakuho? Can you do that for me? Give Kaisei 10 wins. Alright, Midori Fuji up next. Another young man, 24 years old, stumbles with a 5-10 at the position of Maegashira 10, but I feel like he can come back to, you know, get a pretty solid score from Maegashira 15. He's not going to have a very high, you know, match count against a lot of these guys around him because some of them are coming down. And he did, you know, climb up with Kaisei, with a Kiseyama, kind of with Aqua and Ishiura, so probably gonna have good or decent records against them. But let's check out these last two. Basho loses to Chiyoshima, Kotonowaka, Tobisaru way above his pay grade now, Aoyama way out of the league, Chionokuni way up there, beats Hoshoryu, who is 10 ranks above him, might see him on day 15 if they're both hurting for a win. Loses to Kaisei, loses to Tsurugisho, who is again kind of in the neighborhood. Beats Okinoumi, who is now in the neighborhood. I'd like to believe that Midori Fuji will have a good shot of having a winning record here. And that's not without or not with any deep dives. Midori Fuji, I think he's gonna have a winning record. Ishiura and Chiyomaru, welcome back to the top division. Oh, they were on the Judio banzuke, so I gotta go find them. Ishiura, Chiyomaru, and Aqua, the last 3 men coming up from the Judio division. Ishiura, 31 years old. We love the smaller men. Coming back off of that COVID absence, falls to Judio 2 because of it, because they had to move people up. 9-6 gets him back into the top division. And from here, I don't know what to believe about Ishiura. He's going to be fighting up the entire time, and we do love to see him, but I don't think he has changed his style enough to really like make a splash. We can look at his future opponents: Kaisei 2 and 3, Chiyomaru 8 and 9, Aqua 0 and 1. Unfortunately, Midori Fuji 0 and 1. So, like, two things that we can't really call judgment on. Ryuden 6 and 3, Chiyotairyu 5 and 6. So an even matchup, a coin flip. Kiseyama 5 and 4, another coin flip. Dayamami 2 and 1, not enough. Kotoeko, he's going to be fighting up a lot, and he does have some good records. 5 and 3, they're close. Chiyoshoma 8 and 7, so he has a lot of middling records, but they're like slightly positive, like 55-45, 60-40, 50-50. Ishiura, I like him, and I want to believe that he will get a winning record. He might not, but I want to believe that he will. Same thing with Chiyomaru, the round man. 30 years old, highest rank of Maegashira 5. He has a Judo Yusho way back in the day in 2014. Since then, he has been lower Maegashira, upper Judo division material. Similar story to Ishiura, coming off of that COVID, getting that 9 and 6. Oh, excuse me. I got enough sleep today, but I woke up early. Let's look at his opponents. Aqua below him, 2 and 1 in that head-to-head. Ishiura, again a coin flip. Kaisei, coin flip. Midori Fuji, not enough info. Only 1 and 0. Ryuden, big loser there. Can't face Chiyotairyu, they're stablemates. Kiseyama, 4 and 2 in that head-to-head. Dayamami, 2 and 8. Jesus. Kotoeko, 5 and 4, another coin flip. Okinoumi, 5 and 3, kind of a coin flip. Kotonowaka, 1 and 2. And then we can even kind of go down to the Judo Banzuke. How does he do against how is he gonna do against oh, he can't fight Chiono. Oh, Enho. Enho might be his only opponent from Judo, let's be real. Enho, 4 and 2 against Enho. I mean, just looking at the opponents around him, I don't think it's likely that he will get a winning record, and he might go back down to Judo because he has too many coin flip matchups, which again, you never know what's gonna happen. And then he has more losing head-to-heads than winning head-to-heads, so I don't think Chiyomaru is going to have a winning record. Finally, we have Aqua making his top division debut at the age of 30 back in November of 2020. Unfortunately, went 5 and 10 on the January tournament, and then scrapes himself back into the top division, where he will, again, most likely only be fighting up. So he's going to have a rough road ahead of him at the position of Maegashira 17. Ishiura, he's 1 and 0 against. Chiyomaru, 1 and 2 against. Small sample sizes really suck. Kaisei, 1 and 1. Midori Fuji, 4 and 3, so kind of a coin flip in his favor. Ryuden, 4 and 2, more in his favor. Chiyotairyu, never fought Chiyotairyu. Kiseyama, 4 and 4, another coin flip. Dayamami, 1 and 2, not really enough information there. Kotoeko, 2 and 4. Okinoumi, never fought Okinoumi. Kotonowaka, 0 and 4 against Kotonowaka. Chiyoshoma, 2 and 4 there. So again, things in his future are really not lending themselves to being good for him. I don't think Aqua, as much as I like Aqua, I don't think he's going to have a winning record. And so, to review the Banzuke, Hakuho's not going to be here. I think Asanayama and Teruno Fuji are going to be big winning Ozeki. Takakeisho can have a winning record. Shodai might be a losing record. Our Sekiwake, Takayasu, and Takanosho, small winning records. Mitakeyumi might have a losing record here. And Daisho, I believe he will come back into his own and have a big winning record. Same thing with Wakatakakage. I feel he will get 10 plus wins yet again. Hokuto Fuji across from him and Maegashira 1. Possibly not going to have a good tournament again. Meisei, again, won't have another good tournament. Every time he comes this high, he gets smacked back down. Tobizaru, same thing to him, except probably a little bit harsher. I predict he will be a big loser. Aoyama, in this new style, I hope he maintains it, because I will call him a winner should he maintain it. And then you have Chiyonokuni, Maegashira 3, highest position in a long time for him. Coming off of injury, fish out of water. He's going to be a big loser. I think Kiribayama and Myogiryu will maintain losing records again at Maegashira 4. Whether or not they stay at Maegashira 4 will be seen, depending on if it's a 7-8 or a 6-9. Hoshoryu and Onosho, I feel, will get winning records. Down to Hideno Umi, I think he will be a small loser, another middling record. Ichinojo, I think he'll come back into his own. He has the fire, he has newborn agility. I think he's going to make it. Tochinoshin and Takeda Fuji, I think they're on their way out. Probably going to be losing records. Tsurugisho, because of the competition around him, I feel like he has the potential to get a winning record here. Endo, again, coming off of another injury. He's going to probably try to fight through the injury and get a losing record for his trouble. Shimano Umi, on his way down. Old man. Just like Tochinoshin and Takeda Fuji. Kageyaki needs to come into his own, and I feel like this is the tournament where he needs to find his confidence in himself. Winning record. Tamawashi, Terutsuyoshi, Kotonowaka, and Chiyoshoma, because of all of the people above them, and because they are mostly going to be fighting down this tournament, I feel that they will get winning records and push themselves up above the lower parts of the banzuke into the better half of the middle of the banzuke, where they will fight tougher opponents next Basho. Kotoeko and Okino Umi at the top of the bottom. Despite that, I feel like they have bad matchups against a lot of their future opponents and will have losing records. Akiseyama, because of fighting down for the most part and having good records against those opponents, he has a good chance of going up. Dayamami, same argument, except the other way. He has a good chance of going down because of bad records against the people he will be fighting against. Ryuden, similar to Akiseyama, up. Chiyotairyu, similar to Dayamami, down. Kaisei, I think, has the best potential for a double-digit win in the bottom of this banzuke. Midori Fuji across him, I think, also has potential for wins, as well as Ishiura. Chiyomaru and Aqua, I feel, might go back down to Judio. And then, for my Yusho prediction, I kind of mind-gamed myself into making this prediction, but with Teruno Fuji's recent dominance and Asano Yama's consistency, I feel if Asano Yama can get a win, again, if he doesn't start the tournament 0-3, and if he stays consistent, I feel it is Asano Yama's time to shine, and I feel Asano Yama is going to be most likely to get the Yusho. I will say, though, Teruno Fuji is my second pick, and if not either Asanoyama or Teruno Fuji, another Maegashira Yusho. That is my top 3 guesses. Asanoyama, Teruno Fuji, or a Maegashira Yusho. And I feel like I shouldn't need to specify the Maegashira because I feel like it's already exciting enough to not get a Sanyaku ranked Yusho. But if I had to make a guess, probably be Wakataka Kage. That would be incredible. Probably not going to happen, but one can dream. I think Asanoyama will be our Yusho winner for the upcoming Banzuke, or the upcoming Basho in March. And with that, I would like to thank everybody for watching this video, this Banzuke prediction game. Well, a different kind of prediction game. More like a preview show for the upcoming Basho. And if I got my dates correct, that Basho will begin, for me at the very least, Saturday, May 8th. And we will start our live stream. You can find the link in the description below. On Saturday, May 8th, 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So probably more around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We use the Abema footage and we cover everything and play video games up until the 2nd division of Judio. So, thank you everybody for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this discussion. If you have any arguments you would like to make about your Yusho predictions, or maybe you think Tobizaru is going to be a big winner, maybe you think Kaisei is going to go 0-15, I don't know. You guys tell me. Leave that in the comments down below, or hit me up in the Nato Sumo Discord, because I'm pretty active in there as well. Please be sure to like me on Twitch and please be sure to like this video, and well, I mean, if you liked me too, that would be really flattering. But please be sure to follow me on Twitch and Twitter. You can find those links down in the description below. And once again, thank you everybody for watching. I will 100% catch you cats later for more sumo action, and of course, some good old-fashioned video gaming. I wanted to lead in with something else, but I forgot the words I wanted to use, and now I feel like I sounded like a jackass. Alright, I'll catch you cats later.